All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, my name is Vinny. Well, I am here with Kim, and we are back with you for another episode of Dockside at the Bay, where we go over and talk about the Emmy Award-winning web soap, The Bay. Kim, how are you today?
Doing all right. Got confirmed got approved for a new apartment, which I'm very excited about. So, going to be moving in a couple of weeks. And moving is stressful. But I don't know, not as stressful as this episode was for our heroes. This episode was a little crazy. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, you're not kidding. It really was. It was, but you know what? There was some good that came out of it too, and we'll get into that. We'll get into that in a little bit. But first, I do want to go over and let everybody know today is February 3rd. It is the day after Groundhog Day, and Punxsutawney Phil decided that we're going to get 6 more weeks of winter.
Not people are happy with that groundhog.
Yeah, well, apparently his ex-wife Penelope lives in Florida and says he's a compulsive liar. So we'll see if it actually comes true. But either way, today is February 3rd. We are recording it for February 5th, and we just got through with the Royal Rumble for WWE. So there was a great day in Saudi Arabia this past Saturday. Although I also do want to mention the Show Buzzness website is finally up and running. It's the showbuzzness.com for all of your entertainment news. There's going to be soap news. There's going to be wrestling. There's going to be podcast news and reviews regarding like Maurice Bernard's State of Mind, as well as the rest of the soap operas. And go there, check it out. The companion piece of the first 2 episodes of Book Beyond Reality are up. That was the first episode, which was George Animal Steel against Big Bronson Reed. And then the second episode was Andre the Giant versus The Big Show. So if you want to, go check those out. And then you can go to suds-media.com, which is our website, and check out the episodes that are there. And I did go through today and actually do a couple of organizations on the YouTube channel. So we have a bunch of different playlists. So all of Suds News is in one playlist. All of Dockside at the Bay is in one. All of Gate Crashers. Actually, I got to work on Gate Crashers, which we're actually looking to come back relatively soon. And then all of Freestyling on Real American Freestyle. All of Book Beyond Reality. And then all of our interviews are going to be going into one folder as well, one playlist. So if you want to check out our interviews, whether it's with Courtney Marie Shrem, Eric Nelson, Kyle Lauder, Gregory Martin, Mike Manning, so on and so forth that we've had, whether it's on Dockside, Suds News, our podcast-a-thon, or whatever, they are all going to be in one playlist. So it's a little bit more organized.
Very exciting.
Yes, very exciting, very exciting. Also, what else is very exciting is that this weekend, next weekend is Valentine's Day. So if you want to buy us something nice for your sweetheart, you can go ahead and buy them a Suds and Squared Circle Media Cuddle Buddy. And they are exclusively at merch.
We're red too.
Yes, exactly. Merch.suds-media.com. Go over to that website. You could do any combination of our show logos or personalized logos on any color, any product. If you order the doggy bandana or the doggy cuddle buddy, those proceeds go directly to Samantha's friends because we love dogs and we want to help support the service animals for first responders and veterans. Also, folks, one more thing before we get in there is that we are running a promotion for Suds and Squared Circle Media for every month of 2026. For every super chat, super thanks, or super sticker that we receive that you guys pay for to help support our network, you will be entered into a drawing every month to win a Suds and Squared Circle Media t-shirt. All you have to do is send us a super chat or a super thanks or a super sticker, and that is your entry. At the end of the month on a live episode of Suds News, we will make the drawing of who wins for that month, and that goes on every month for the year of 2026. So help us out, and you get a chance to win a t-shirt. All right. Now that all the housekeeping is out of the way, it's time that we get to talk about The Bay, season 7, episode number 11, and a short episode, condensed,
Yep.
but it packed a punch.
For sure. For sure. I mean, we kick it off with, kind of a face that, hasn't been too familiar to us in recent episodes. So I was like, I was happy to see him again because Matthew Ashford, but
Yes.
also like, damn it, Jensen.
Yes.
Hi, Steve. It's been a bit, but no, we're treated to his getting transported to California State Prison.
Yep. Exactly.
With Nardo and with Benji Ramos, and I'd kind of forgotten about that. I like, obviously I just kind of thought he was just a run-of-the-mill cop at first. I kind of forgot it was, I don't know, it's been a bit since we'd seen him maybe, but it didn't register at first that he's Ramos related to Orchid.
Yeah.
So I appreciated that they kind of tied that back.
As we mentioned during this episode regarding the family tree of the Ramoses, and while Jensen is in the car, because Nardo, before we even get to the car scene, Nardo calls Lex and says, "Hey,
Yes.
we're driving Jensen to the California State Penitentiary. The FBI is going to be there to help us transport." And so Lex asks who's driving. He's like, "My nephew Benji. We've got this taken care of."
Yeah. It helps solidify it because these characters, not like they're out of, but Orchid, it's been a bit since we've seen her too.
Yes.
So it was just nice that they kind of, twine in that history, let us, kind of, like, oh yeah, that's so-and-so. Okay. And, they lay it out so nicely and seamlessly. But just kind of an interesting, and of course we get Steve, interjecting from the backseat, backseat driver, pain in the ass to the nth degree.
Yeah, exactly. And just the way that, I mean, it did add a little bit of, humor into it, the way that he was interacting with Benji and Nardo. And like Nardo's sitting there just stone faced. Like he's like, let's just get this over. We got to get him over there and whatever. And Benji's like, hey, maybe I should turn on the radio, turn on some salsa music. And
just shut up, Jensen. Just like they have no patience for it. And, he's like getting all like, oh yeah, I used to sweep women off their feet. And then he kind of launches in though to mentioning Orchid, and you can see Benji just like foaming at the mouth.
He doesn't even call her Orchid. He calls her Marissa. And it took me a little bit to put two and two together because I'm like, I know we've heard the name Marissa Ramos before. Where did we hear it?
Right.
And that was Orchid,
Yep. And then for him to kind of even say like, when was the last time you spoke, little brother Ramos, like when was the last time you spoke with Orchid? And then Nardo, I'm about to gag your ass. Like he's just not putting up. Kudos, A. Martinez. I love him so much when he just had the opportunity to just.
I was hoping he was going to be at the Samantha's Friends event back in September that I went to, but he was not.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, it would be a treat to meet him because I when he gets the moments to just kind of just look just thoroughly annoyed and just like, spit stuff out like that. It just, no, he's great. But
it's unbelievable. Like just the face that he has, like we know, I mean, he looks like he's ex-cop, ex-military, just the stone-faced,
sweetheart though character when he's interacting with Liana for
well, that's what I was going to say. Like we've seen the soft side of Nardo. We've seen the soft side, the grandfather who, his granddaughter has had such a traumatic problem in the past couple of years with Janice committing suicide and shooting Will by accident and then all this other stuff. And it's like, now it's time for tough guy.
Yeah. Now we get to see him because he's picking up, for Lex, because obviously you have Lex who the scenes were short with him and Sarah. Yeah. But when he is just sitting by her bedside, just completely bereft and completely, just you need to wake up, it just it breaks your heart. I mean, you can just see how much he cares about her, and it's just it hurts to see him so just small and sad.
Yeah, it does. I agree. It's hard to see Lex, somebody who the police commissioner, and And I like how Lex told Nardo, he's like, I know you came out of retirement for this, you know, and I trust you and everything. And he's like, listen, I want to get this over with to protect my family, protect the city that I live in. And, you know, we're going to get rid of this motherfucker.
Yeah. No, great exchange between the two of them. And I love how it's just like, you know, two, you know, grizzled old cops that are just like, you know, but they're, you know, you can tell that they got each other's backs and they're helping each other out and they're just trying to vanquish all this bad stuff that's happening and, you know, doing their best at it. But such good scenes and such just soap vets at their best, you know?
Oh, absolutely.
But yeah, we have, you know, so all of that's kind of happening, you know, Bay City, but, you know, California, but then majority of the episode was, you know, Puerto Rico focused.
Right.
We definitely got, and I liked this, you know, because I've never been to Puerto Rico, haven't had the pleasure yet, but I can honestly say, like, seeing like the scenes that were filmed there and just how I would go in a hot second. And I'm not even much of a beach girl, but it just looked lovely. And I just, it was cool just seeing like all these different kind of parts of, you know, Puerto Rico and just, you know, get like them like really digging in and just exploring, you know, different parts of the island and just different, you know, areas. It felt like a little bit like, you know, kind of like like, hey, you know, come visit, you know, it's like a little bit of an ad, but it just, it worked. And they blended it into the narrative and just showing like different parts of, you know, PR and everything like that. And I just thought that was really cool. And it
I really like, and I like that it specifies Viejo San Juan compared to just San Juan. So it's like you're looking at inner city San Juan, which is Viejo, and then you're looking at the tourist attraction of San Juan, the beaches, the, you know, everything, and you're looking at it from a third person point of view because we're obviously watching the characters. Right. And let's start with Diego and Reagan and Frankie, Xander, Reagan and Frankie. And they're, you know, just out exploring because he lives down there, or he's been down there before. He knows his way around.
Oh, so, no, he was definitely playing tour guide. And, you know, even like when he was saying, oh, yeah, you're having this, you know, local cuisine. This is the food you're eating. It's like, I want to go down there and have that. That looks really nice.
I'll say it again. I would love to do a world tour just based on food.
Me too. Sign me up.
And I feel like food can bring world peace to reality.
Food is love. Food is love.
Exactly.
But yeah, they you know, they're just kind of strolling around, enjoying, you know, and then I don't know, it was kind of funny because you do have like, you know, the sense of the twins were a little bit worried. You know, they were worried about Pete, obviously, in the whole situation that's going on. But Xander, I'm reassuring them, you know, it's not dangerous here, but you know. But they also acknowledged, like, yeah, those crazies could have, you know, found their way here. Some of those people could have found their way here.
And wouldn't you know who won the pony 30 seconds later? They hear a gunshot.
Yeah. It was so funny, too, because it's like Xander's solution. Let's go to a secluded beach. Like, no. Like, you got someone who's a little bit nervous about potential, you know, psychopaths that were terrorizing, you know, Bay City. Potentially, like, you know, and now you want to go to a secluded beach. Wouldn't be, you know, maybe something a little more, I don't know, out in the open, in public.
Yeah.
A wiser choice, but hey.
But you know what? That secluded beach, it took them to the right area because, you know, they were walking around it and Xander's explaining, oh, that was a fort. That was I like the line. That was, you know, to protect the, you know, to protect the island from, you know, ambushes and everything. And I think it was Frankie or Reagan said pirates. And he's like, you can say pirates. I thought that was kind of fun. Like, that's one of the best things about this show. Like, we have these teenagers because they literally are high schoolers.
Yes.
And they're in this.
Not 20-somethings playing 14-year-olds. We actually have, like, you know, teenagers.
They're high schoolers, and they're in these roles that are very serious, but there's also that childlike approach to it where it's like pirate, like, and that was so uncharacteristic of Reagan. I thought it would have come from Frankie because she's the wild one, you know, and Reagan's a bookworm, you know.
No, and they've just got like a good natural like rapport, kid chemistry. You know, they're fun to watch. They're an entertaining, you know, bunch. And it's just some of the lines and things that they got, like when they do show up on the beach, whatever, and then they catch sight of what's going on, and they see, you know, they get treated to seeing Silver and the target practice and the whole nine. Not my people. They're not my people.
Yeah.
Immediately saying that.
And Reagan's like, holy crap, I think it looks like the guy in the sketch of the newspaper. And sure enough, you know, Frankie confirms it. It's like, yeah, that is the guy on the paper. And then they're like, well, we can't run and grab Pete because we'll lose him. And Xander's like, well, it's now or never. They're leaving. So they jump in the back of the truck bed.
You know, I'm getting almost Scooby-Doo vibes.
Yes. But it's great because they actually are, they're putting the effort into this age group.
Yes, for sure. They're not just window dressing. They're not just little kids that run out on the set and, like, you know, look cute and wave and say hi once in a while. Yeah. No, they get some, like, they get to advance the plot forward in their own kind of, you know, meddling kid kind of way or whatever. And there's some comic relief involved. Like when you see him jump out underneath that tarp, it's like, oh God, guys, what are you doing?
And Angela and I were just talking about it last night on Suds News, in that there's a lack of kids, you know, a lack of that youth group, young age group on soap operas now, because I don't know if I'm sure you've seen the internet backlash, but on General Hospital last week, Charlotte and Danny kissed, and they're second cousins once removed or something like that. And, you know, the whole Twitter's at a blaze. Oh, it's incest. They're related and all that. It's like, come on, it's a soap opera. Under New York law, second cousins, it's legal if they wanted to do anything. And not to mention, teenagers tend to experiment with their cousins, especially with their first kiss and whatever. But it's like, the problem is that they have, you know, no soaps have really put that much emphasis into that young age group, bringing in people of different families, and they're not fostering that growth that's needed to push the next generation.
Well, you know, you can argue that Days of Our Lives was doing something similar with, now granted, they're not technically cousins by blood, but they have Stephanie and Alex. Alex was raised by Adrian, who is technically Stephanie's aunt. So
they're also in their 30s. So,
but it's still, it's like, it's almost like cause Stephanie's like considered a legacy kid. Alex by, you know, rights as well. But it just feels like, okay, is your pool so small of like this age group of like legacy characters in this area that you feel the need to put these two together and not acknowledge the fact that they actually were like kind of like these, like it's like they're choosing to ignore it. Or just like conveniently forgetting the fact that like Adrian raised, it's like they're kind of ignoring the history for the sake of this pairing that isn't really catching fire. And it's just because they haven't really developed that younger generation enough to flesh it out more. It's like, bring in come on, there's other people in that age range that they could easily be paired with, and they wouldn't be related in like, you know, that sort of sense. But it sounds like GH is kind of, because it always used to be the summers when they would have the kids. Kind of, because that's when, you know, kids are potentially home from school, they can catch on. I mean, I remember all my children doing that. And now granted, the teen scene wasn't all that. When I was 14 years old, I was paying more attention to the, you know, JR and Jamie, who were not 14 years old. I was paying more attention to the older, like, you know, shirtless guys, as opposed to like the teenagers that they were bringing on who were around my age that I was just kind of like, whatever with. But they were definitely attempting, and this was like 2005, 2004, that era. They were at least like working to bring in that younger generation and bring them up.
And I feel like an outdated system because of streaming, because of Hulu, because of Peacock, Paramount, whatever you want to say, whatever streaming service you want to go with. Kids don't have to be off school to watch soap operas. It's so much easier now.
Even from when I was a kid. Completely it around. So I don't know. I appreciate, at least with the Bay, you know, they're trying to like have this generation like, you know, take active part in the storyline that's going on. They're weaving them in, they're tying them into these families. I mean, we even got, you know, some of that with Hannah, who's been fairly recently introduced as well. You know, those were scenes that we got with her and with Dre. just great sort of, it's like they're speaking to that, generation and the teens. They're really giving them a chance to kind of drive story as opposed to just kind of being there for the sake of being there, and it's refreshing, especially
so
now.
What's so and you're right. It's great. It does give kind of like a Scooby-Doo vibe, especially when they get out of the flatbed and they're like being run down by a guy with a gun. What the hell are you doing here?
With her glasses, I'm sorry, she reminds me of Velma, which I appreciate. I always identified more with Velma.
I get it.
In fact, I wanted her for Halloween a couple years in a row. So
there's nothing wrong with Velma. I remember one year when I was dating one of my exes, and my son, I think, was I want to say my son was maybe 8 or 9, and then her son was like 5 or 6. They did Scooby and Scrappy Doo.
Oh, nice.
So, but yeah, I mean, Scooby Doo is a classic.
Yeah. But it was channeling that with the humor and with the kids and with them kind of getting in the way of the crazy villains.
It's a good thing that Xander speaks Spanish because he was able to kind of, just say, hey, we're just playing around.
Really, brave boy. Very, just, when he was like, caballero, camate, just really trying to like stress to this guy, we're not here to cause trouble. We're in the wrong place, wrong time. I'm sorry. But that could have been a lot. Just the fact that he was able to diffuse that and they were able to get away.
And then you got to think about it, how small that island is. Now, I know obviously Puerto Rico is an island, but, just to find out how small it is, that they're, able to run from, where that compound is, Adam's compound,
right,
back to the beach that they were on.
Yeah.
And they're heading to, to go find Pete, Caleb, and our Bay City Avengers.
It's a little more grounded than, say, like if they had been running around, I don't know, California, like, trying to get from like LA to Bay City or something like that. And then just, something like that where it would be a little bit harder to swallow. At least, like, yes, Puerto Rico is large, but it's an island and, they are capable of, getting from one. It's a little bit more feasible versus, what could have been if they had been, on the mainland or something like that.
Yep, exactly. So they find out where, everything is. Meanwhile, P had just gotten the picture texted to them of Daniel and what, they were doing to Daniel. They were dunking him, trying to drown him. And, he tells Caleb, okay, we got to bring this to Cordero now. So that's where we pick him up.
Cordero Castro, that's his name, correct?
Yes, I believe so. It's either Cordero Castro or Castro Cordero. I think it's because Xander's last name is Castro, so it's Cordero Castro. Yeah.
But no, those were some good scenes too. When he's basically like, he's just honest about the situation. Like, we can't really, we can try and pull as much as we can from this, but it's not. I mean, he's handling it as delicately as he can, knowing the stakes and knowing how stressful it is. But it turns out it's like, it's a little difficult to kind of, and you have poor Caleb in the background, just completely, bereft and losing it. And it's just over here, what blood when he overhears that line. Oh, it's just, my heart just broke in that moment. Like, we need to find
the way that, Cordero tells them, these pictures, they have no location, they're not geo-tracked. And he's like, yeah, of course. Adam wouldn't send it if it was tracked.
Yeah, because he's the mastermind playing this game, and of course he's going to manipulate the technology so that there's no way. But and I, in that office or command center, wherever they were, Pete and Pete's talking Caleb down, and because Caleb is freaking out. Of course.
So. And the way that he just kind of embraces him, and then you see RJ just kind of in the background feeling left out, and just
RJ looks so like sad puppy.
He does.
Just like helpless though, because what can he do?
Right.
Sort of, lend moral support at that point. Like, none of them. They're all. They realize that it's out of their hands at this stage, but that they have to work together still, regardless. And this is as solid a lead as they're going to have at the moment. But they just need to work from it. But
after this, it looks like Pete is getting ready for war, and to go to war, he's got to have some fighting gear, and we can help you guys out with fighting gear, and that's because we're an affiliate of WWE Shop. Ladies and gentlemen, Suds and Sports Circle Media is an official affiliate of WWE Shop. If you want to buy stuff for the new AAA Mega Champion and WWE Intercontinental Champion Dominic Mysterio, or the classic Stone Cold Steve Austin with his Austin 316 merchandise, or merch for Raw is War, SmackDown, or any other WWE show, just go to wrestlingmerch.suds-media.com or scan the QR code for our affiliate link. You can either go to wrestlingmerch.suds-media.com or scan the QR code on the screen, and you'll be taken to WWE Shop using our affiliate link. And anything you buy using our affiliate link, we earn commission. That's right, folks. We do earn commission every time you use that link or that QR code to help us out at WWE Shop. All right. With that said, let's move on. Pete and Caleb and RJ are ready for war. Because obviously Sarah's still in locked in the coma and in her bed up in Bay City. We know that Ian, Daniel, Tamara are still, being held hostage by Adam. Mm-hmm. And, we know that the kids are coming now to let them know where the place is. So at this point we're ready, we're ready for war. Yeah.
I mean, they're all just, geared up to, put this nightmare to an end in whatever way that they can. Yeah. And, we did kind of get like a little bit of distance from, we did not distance from, but like kind of the B story in all of this was to a degree the scenes with Dre and with Hannah.
Yes.
Because that was kind of like, taking us away from some of the action, everything that was taking place in Puerto Rico and whatnot. We did get just kind of a more grounded sort of family moment, just to kind of, it almost like it puts a spotlight on these two characters. So we've been introduced to, we know the story, we get it. Like she was involved with Evan, obviously Hannah's Evan's daughter, but we did get a moment where we just kind of got a little bit more backstory into them. And that was kind of a refreshing sort of change of pace,
kind of, and I liked how Drea told Hannah the truth. Saying, yes. He never knew about you.
Yeah, because Hannah's a smart little, she's a smart, sassy, kind of kid. She's social media is like not. She wants to, she wanted to go to Puerto Rico, obviously with Xander, but grandmother was kind of intervening and saying like, but Dre says like, well, we're gonna go and visit your father, and immediately she just like takes off. She's just like, I'm not about this right now. And then we kind of learn, the reason why. Like, can I have my space, please, though? Or,
talk about a Gen Z.
Yeah, a little bit. But it read it sometimes with teenage writing. Sometimes it's a little, and
it's a little difficult.
Yeah, sometimes it's like they're trying to capture a specific voice. Lingo, things like that, and sometimes it rings true, sometimes it feels like it's a little bit over the top. It's like, okay, we don't need to like splice in like I don't know, Beyond the Gates sometimes would lapse into that a little bit with some of the dialogue that they'd give the teenagers younger set on that show, where it just felt a little bit like ham-fisted. Like, okay, they do talk like that, but do they talk like that much?
I feel and definitely the next time we talk to Gregory, we're gonna have to bring it up, but or any writer for that matter. How when it comes to the younger generation, whether they're Hannah's age or Reagan and Frankie's age, like, do you kind of ask those younger actors to kind of look at the script and what they're supposed to say and make it theirs? Like, change the wording. So it's like something that they would actually say.
So it sounds a little bit more natural and a little less forced.
But it's
written by someone that wouldn't necessarily speak like that all the time.
But at the same time, you run into the problem of who's the audience? Is the audience going to understand the new age lingo? You know what I mean? So it's like,
Finding that balance has got to be very tricky. I can,
Yeah.
I can only imagine. I felt though like these scenes, it was a little. It felt very just like kind of old school soapy in a way, because it's a very like it's a grounded conversation. She wants to know exactly what happened, like between like figure out this, and Drea admitting that she didn't want to tell her when she was younger because she didn't feel like she'd understand, but almost wishes that she had, because then they wouldn't be having this conversation now and she wouldn't have gone as long not being around her father. It definitely felt like just like a very realistic sort of back and forth dialogue between mother and daughter about this whole situation. And I thought it was just a very well done scene. And I believe, though, and correct me if I'm wrong, that Drea was initially played by a different actress when she first came on.
I think it's the same one.
I don't know. For some reason I thought it was a different actress. Either way, though, I thought her chemistry with Hannah was very, realistic. Mother-daughter, I bought into that, dynamic completely. I thought they did a great job, and that hug at the end was just so sweet. And you can tell that this is just a difficult thing for them to kind of contend with. But they do, and they acknowledge with Evan too that he just wasn't, he wasn't in a situation where, he was capable of dealing with a kid. And, Dre admits to not having a father when she was growing up, but they're trying to fix things for their immediate family, and Evan's trying to. It's just, there was a lot to unpack there. But
yeah, no, you're exactly right. I'm trying to check to see if I can find out that information.
Yeah, I don't know. For some reason, I thought it was a different actress who was the one who was helping Sarah, like driving the getaway car for Sarah when she was on, during her escape from Jensen.
I remember. I thought it was the same one. Honestly,
I could be totally off base, and if I am, I apologize.
No, it's fine, because sometimes when you take them out of, take it out of their element, it does look different. Especially when you're seeing it in a different context.
True.
So I'm just looking. I'll find it, folks. I'm still looking.
Yeah, but even Hannah was just very like, just basically telling her, Mom, you played God. You kept me from father. You just orchestrated this control, and it just very, she's a mature kid. She gets.
Let's see. From what I see here, I believe it was still. It's not giving me what I actually want. Sorry, folks. I'm still looking, because the website shows Kiara Liz Ortega. I can't just. Here we go. Web series. I always go to the Wikipedia page because they generally have multiple people listed. No, actually, it shows that she just came in season 7. So maybe it was somebody, because there was a Drea. This is Dre. So there was a Drea who was the reporter, and that was the dirty cop's sister.
Yes.
This is not her, I don't think.
Okay.
I at least I'm pretty sure that's, again, the family tree is always screwed up in these soap operas.
And I always have, it's the running gag. I do have to, maybe we should try and work that into some sort of like, we get enough t-shirts, or give away enough t-shirts, and we get enough enough entries, and I'll make that family tree. Get that all documented so we can keep it straight for ourselves.
Yeah, I don't know. It's not giving me
either way, though, I
might have to actually go into the series and check the cast.
Yeah. And I do want to see more interaction between Evan and his daughter.
I do too.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to, more of that, and more of just Brandon in general. Let's just be real. Because, his scenes, I like that he just gets utilized properly on the Bay.
Agreed.
Versus days where I feel like he just kind of gets, kind of
lost.
Yeah.
And for a legacy character that he plays on days, it's uncalled. Like, and I get it because we watch it on General Hospital all the time. The cast is so bloated, but I feel like at least GH does a good job managing the cast. Days tends to drop the ball a little bit.
I'm not. Yeah, if I could go on 4 days, and I'm not, pun intended. That's the choices they've made when it comes to characters that I particularly like, that I feel like are just kind of getting sidelined versus. Anyway, different soap. But no, it was nice seeing even his scenes were fairly brief, but he's still just trying to stay clued in and on top of the action from his hospital bed, still trying to figure everything out. And just it's difficult for him, and he's also on meds too, which is not helping his cause.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And but even like the detective trying to get information and things out of him, and Avery having to basically just kind of explain the whole situation. I mean, feels like that man's been in the hospital forever, but in the span of the Bay, I mean, it's probably only been a few days. It just feels like, because this plot point is like it's taking place over a longer stretch. But my gosh,
it feels like it feels like it goes in a blink, but then it's because it's 10 episodes or however many episodes, it does feel like it's a long time.
Yeah, but can't rush a recovery from a shoulder shooting wound.
No, you can't. We'll find it. I'm still looking, folks.
Oh.
Yes. Yeah. So Kiara Liz was Andrea Dre Collins. Mm-hmm. So that's who she is, currently played. And let's see. Are we gonna see a different person? What was that? I'm not finding it.
Well, that's okay. I mean, we did have, there were some other, scenes that and I feel like we're kind of merging, episode 11 and 12 a little bit here.
Yeah.
But to be fair, a lot of the action was overlapping, and we've got a lot of kind of continuous sort of moments. But there was that moment when we had, we cut back to Vivian, in her situation. And, she sees a friendly face in Tamra, but then has to deal with the, and I'm blanking on her name, Adam's go-to doctor friend, who he's got the interesting sort of relationship with.
Well, sure. I was still scrolling the IMDb page of the Bay. I didn't realize that an AEW wrestler was in Bay the Beginning.
Oh.
No, I'm sorry. He's in season 10. Sorry, 2025, season 10.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah. He plays Quincy. All right, so that's if I had known that, I would have said something. I said something to Gregory when we had him. But yeah, okay. But yeah, maybe that's a connection that I'll have to try to make. But yeah, Anthony Bowens is an AEW wrestler, and he's in season 10 of the Bay. So,
all right.
He plays Quincy. So that's now it's time to get caught up.
Yeah, no, but we did have that sequence with Viv, trying to escape. You see like those, even the bruises on her wrist left from like the rope, and you can tell she's just been trying to claw and fight her way out of that. Yeah. And Tamra, races in.
Was that this episode or was that the next episode?
I thought that was in the first. See, we're blurring the lines here, man. We're blurred together.
Yeah, that's where I'm gonna have to check to see where the cutoff is, because I thought it was maybe it is in the first one, but then I thought, that's a good question. I'm going to have to check that.
Well, even so, it did, right. Yeah. I mean, all of the action, like I said, I mean, we had a lot happening in Puerto Rico and both these episodes that, yes. 11 and in 12. And I don't know, everything just kind of, I watched them back to back, and I think that was my problem.
Yeah, episode.
I got caught up binging. That's the problem. Normally I just kind of am like one and done, but I just like, nope, I got to see what happens next because I remembered, but I didn't remember all of it. And then here we are now blurring the lines for us.
Yeah, no, it happens. Episode 11 is called Telltale Signs.
Yes.
That's what we're talking about now. So I'm just going to do a quick double check of it. But I do think maybe you're right. Maybe it is in this episode.
Yeah, I was trying to backtrack through my notes, which I also took by hand. Normally I type up my notes, but I didn't have my laptop was, so I was just like scribbling down on a little notepad. Maybe that's my problem.
We forgot about the detective going to see Evan. Oh yeah, you are right. You are right. Tamara and Vivian are in this episode. And then the detective that goes to see Evan.
Yes.
Because he obviously talked to Tamara and he's ready to go. He's still trying to get out of the bed.
Oh yeah. No, he is
in the loop.
That man, he is determined. But at this point, like, we were saying, he's on meds now too. And they're making him fuzzy and it's just frustrating him. And he wants more than anything to just kind of get to the bottom of all of this. And he's playing, well, I'm the DA and I can do, trying to play that card. But the nurses are, Avery has to be the one to, tell him not going to happen. Avery's even the one that gets a chance to speak with the detective just about his condition and about where he's at. But
and then they doubled back and said that Avery has to go down to the station with them. I didn't understand that.
Yeah, that was a little fuzzy for me too. I don't know. Maybe I was chasing Evan or something.
But no, I couldn't figure that out because they know that Avery had nothing to do with it. I mean, obviously, these wounds, they targeted the Garretts. And so Avery is the only one standing, basically, other than Pete.
Yeah.
But so maybe that's why they have to. That was weird for me.
Yeah. Yeah. No, you're right. Now that I think it was a little bit, but, she's almost like, the last one kind of, they try and obviously you got Sarah out of commission. You've got Tamara, you've got Daniel. It's like she's kind of the last one of the bunch that's able to kind of speak to anything that took place that's in town.
Right, exactly.
So she's just kind of getting roped in. But kudos, she looked Avery, obviously the actress who plays her, dropped it. Thank you. I always blank on her name and I apologize. But she looked just very just just looked exhausted. Looked as if you would, your entire family's been terrorized. You've been working in a hospital. She's very
around the clock. She's, her boyfriend died. Was killed.
But no vanity there. Just looking the part. Exceptionally, just like completely just drained and just No, kudos to her acting in this. She's her scene was short, but such a good job. Just really convinced of the fact that everything around me is just, we're in a hellscape right now.
Exactly. But then, we do get the scene where Tamara is able to come in and see Vivian and
update her on everything that's been going on too, obviously, because Vivian's been locked away in this little cabin. She knows that there's no way out, but she doesn't really know what's going on outside.
At least she's a little bit more comfortable than Daniel and Tamara.
Right.
She's not bed.
Right. But when they cut her or they showed her wrists, and her just trying to claw her way out, it's like, oof, that's got to be uncomfortable. Poor thing.
Oh, yeah.
Kept on talking about all the blood on the Airbus. It's like, she did just give birth.
Yeah.
I know that they're trying to make it, but my goodness, she has been through the ringer. She
hasn't been able to do any exercise, and she looks amazing after just giving birth. She gets out of bed to give Tamara the hug, and it's like, where the hell did baby weight go?
Right? Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's just completely. Yep. Total. Pooch. Totally gone. That baby bump is no more. But no, their scenes though were great. Just Tamara frantically trying to update her, but also stay kind of canny enough to realize that they're being watched, they're being tracked. This whole thing is horrible. We got to figure out a way to get you out of here. And even standing up to the guard who is making every effort to like her saying, do you really think, or even Vivian being like, do you really think it would be okay if you watch, me get undressed? Adam's wife, Adam's soon to be wife, like, come on, bud. And then the guy's just like, I'll go outside.
I like that because it's like, because he's like, and let you guys do something stupid. No, I'm staying right here. And that's when Vivian comes up with, are you sure Adam's going to be happy when, he knows that you saw me naked or saw me undressed? And
right.
You know what? I'm going to go outside.
Yeah, I'm going to leave. And then they have that brief moment to just kind of fill each other in before crazy doctor chick comes in. And, kudos to that actress because she is just gives off just even like the lines that she's saying, what she's saying. It seems like, just innocuous. It seems like, I just, everything is just going to be so like lovely and perfect and everything that Adam wants it to be. And out of anyone else's mouth, you'd think that was like reassuring and nice, but she just manages to give it just this creepy undertone. And it's just, oof. So, her scenes, she wasn't, it was towards the, it was brief, but it sets the tone for her just, her creepiness. And
and that's Precious Mays. That's Precious V. Mays is the, as Adam's stepmother. The very creepy vibes that it gives off. But either way, it works. Like, because now the poor guard doesn't have to stand watch because now, she's in there with, with them, so they won't pull anything.
Sure, it's everything as Adam wants it to be. The way that she said that line and delivered that line, I was just like, oh, ugh. Gives you the ick.
Yes, exactly. But I think that's about it. We covered this episode thoroughly. We blurred the lines a little bit, but either way, it works out. It works out, and it was a great episode. It's like we're able to dissect the episode, and our episodes are actually longer than the actual episodes.
Oh, and one other quick note with the dissecting. I mean, we did have it where it would be blurring lines into the next. Forget it.
Next episode.
Yeah, I was just gonna say a noteworthy moment, but see, this is my own fault. When I take notes by hand, the lines, my handwriting is it's very abysmal. So if we ever did make a family tree, I'd have to type it. But even going through my notes by hand right now, that could be part of the reason why, or maybe I'm still just channeling Evan right now. Who knows?
Well, either way, folks, we are out of time for this episode. We covered it thoroughly from top to bottom, left and right, and all around. But you know what? Either way, the Bay is a fantastic web series. If you have not watched it yet and you're just depending on our show, thank you. But also, you've got to tune in. If it's been a while since you've watched it, definitely go ahead and watch it. Season 10 is currently playing on Popstar, while Season 9 is now available on demand on, I believe, Roku. So check it out. But you could always, the best way to start is Bay the Beginning on Prime Video. That's the only place you can find Bay the Beginning, and that's on Prime Video.
Also, I believe Tubi has it as well.
Tubi has it too? Okay.
I believe Tubi has Bay the Beginning. Don't quote me on that. I know it's on Amazon. It might be on Tubi though as well. So. But
we know the Bay itself, the first 6 seasons are available on Peacock. I think the first 8 seasons are available on Tubi. Amazon has the first 8 as well. And then.
There are plenty of places to find it, friends.
There are. Yep. Exactly. But you know what? We are out of time. Kim, where can everybody find you?
So I am Misfit8690 on Twitter and a little Misfit52 on YouTube. So feel free to hit me up there to chat about soaps or whatever strikes your fancy.
Right. And I am at Vinny Suds on both Twitter and Facebook. Suds and Squared Circle Media is on Facebook as well. Go hit that. Go like that page as well. And maybe join the page, the group that's there. As we, I know us and NGE soaps we've posted in there regularly, and then also at Suds Media is our network Twitter account, which is where I usually am tweeting out for numerous things. Also check out the Show Buzzness website for all your entertainment news and podcast companion pieces. Also, on Instagram and Threads is at Suds and Squared Circle. On Twitch and TikTok, it's at Suds_media, and I've been doing a lot more TikToking lately. Last night, Monday night, I did an After the Suds report, which just went live for 45 minutes and actually got into a good conversation with somebody about animation and anime. So you never know. I might bring you on a TikTok live, so stay tuned to that. Again, follow that and hit the notification bell. And as always, suds-media.com, the website, brings you directly to our YouTube channel. Again, like this video, hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell, and send us a super chat. Support our network. Damn it. But every time you do send us a super, you get entered to win a t-shirt every month for 2026. So with all that, we are out of time, folks. For Kim, I'm Vinny. We will see you next week as we go dockside at the Bay. Have a great day, everybody.
Take care, everybody.